Good morning. And Chronio Pola, not simply to those who celebrate their name day today, but truly to all of humanity, as we offer up prayers of thanksgiving to the Holy Theotokos, who is the offering that we gave as God's creation in order for him to come on earth. She was the greatest of us all, and it was through her that God came to earth. Christians throughout the world today gather in prayer and praise of the Theotokos. If not for the current coronavirus limitations, churches throughout the world would be overflowing with faithful. Why is it that so many gather on this day? What is it that calls us to God's house to be able to be present on this great feast? We gather to not mourn the life of the Theotokos, but rather to celebrate her life and the manner in which she lived it, and the grace through God's love that she continues to live. As many of us gather for the funeral of a loved one, we remove obstacles that may exist. We do whatever it is that we can to be present, to offer prayers, to give support to one another, even to shed tears, but mostly to give thanks for the life so well lived. It is no different on this great feast day. And as all the feast days of the church, we celebrate them not simply marking a time in history, but we celebrate them in the present. And all of us, by gathering in this church and joining in prayer from throughout the world through the internet, find ourselves now in Gethsemane at the bed upon which the Theotokos is laid. One of the prayers that we heard chanted earlier during the Orthodox beautifully puts into words the feelings not simply of the apostles who were present, but through them the feelings and emotions of us all. When your pure body was in preparation for the metastasis, the apostles looked upon you in awe as they gathered round your bed and were overcome as they beheld your body, speaking to the Theotokos. Tearfully, Peter cried out, O Virgin, the life of all, in whom dwelt the delight of the life to come. O Virgin, the life of all, in whom dwelt the delight of the life to come. The God-bearer, that's why we call her Theotokos, for in her womb she held the Creator and God of all. I behold you lying here outspread, and I am overcome. Aren't we all overcome by the greatness of her offering, by the beauty and encompassing joy of her love? And yet, as we gather to celebrate her life, as tears wetten our eyes and cheeks, we remember the words of Christ and the reflection of St. Paul to the people of Thessalonica in his epistle. For because of God's love, We do not mourn as people who have no hope. We understand the life that dawned from the tomb. We understand the greatness of God's love. And as we gather on this day to celebrate the life of the Theotokos, we know that she continues to not simply live, but pray and intercede to her Son for each of us. For those needs that we know and do not know. For today, not simply her soul was carried up to paradise, but her body was carried up to paradise as well. Hymns heard yesterday evening and even today towards the end of Orthodox speak of the gathering of Christ and the angels, how they escorted her, the Theotokos, into paradise, how they cried aloud, alerting the angels who were there to open the doors for she who is coming. In the Kondakion this morning reflects this very beautiful and wonderful fact when it states, neither the grave nor death could contain the Theotokos, the unshakable hope, ever vigilant in intercession and protection. As mother of life, he who dwelt in the ever virginal womb transposed her to life. And she continues to intercede for each one of us. And we, in turn, offer up prayers of thanksgiving to God and to her for her example, for her prayers, for her comfort, and for her intervention on our behalf for God's grace and mercy. Amen.